Hello and welcome to a studio in Leighton Buzzard. Doesn't sound that glamorous, does it? But today actually is an exciting day because Nissan invited me and you to look around this. It's the new Nissan Ariya SUV. Now coming up now is everything you need to know about it. But before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel and switch on that notification button. Now, what's so special about this, I hear you cry? It's just another SUV. Well, yes, you're right, but it's more important than that. Along with creating the crossover craze with the Qashqai and Juke, Nissan also pioneered the electric car market. Now, 10 years after creating the Nissan Leaf and with over 500,000 sales in the bank, Nissan has decided to launch a second electric car, and this is it. Now you can tell Nissan is proud of this car because it's put its own name up in lights. The new logo is backlit by 20 LEDs. And they've got every right to be proud of this car really because it's their first electric car for 10 years since the Leaf launched a decade ago. And when it does go on sale later this year or early 2022, it's going to have some tough competition in the form of the Tesla Model Y, the Ford Mustang Mach-E, the VW ID.4 and the Skoda Enyaq. And I have to say it is a really good looking car, nice minimalist design. Shy and retiring, it certainly isn't. Now, inside, let's start up this Ariya because there's a little treat in store. Isn't that delightful? A lovely little melodious tune. It really sums up the character of this interior. It's nice and relaxing in here. Now, there are some key reasons for that. Firstly, it's the design. Now, apart from cars like the Nissan Juke, I always tend to find Nissan interiors, they feel a bit of an afterthought really, but it's clear Nissan has devoted as much attention to this car's dashboard as it has with the exterior design. I mean, because just look at it. It reminds me a little bit of a Mazda's interior, and I mean that in a very good way. It's nice and minimalist, and it just looks really, really smart. Another thing that's really very relaxing in here is the amount of space. Now, Nissan have been very clever. They've put all the HVAC, that's the heating and ventilation controls, up front under the bonnet. It means that you don't have a frunk in Tesla speak, but it does really benefit interior space. Now, there's a big tech upgrade in here, really big tech upgrade. Firstly, you get two 12.3-inch displays in front of you. The one on the left, obviously, is all your dials, it's configurable, but over here is your infotainment system. Now, it's a new system, new software, and it looks great. And a really good thing is that they've, much like the Leaf, there is plenty of electric car stuff on there. So you'll be able to see your range, your charging, all that kind of stuff. It's all through that screen. There's some nice little details in here as well. Now this center console, it looks fixed, doesn't it? But no, oh no, it's movable, it's electric. Look, I can slide it forwards and backwards. I think I could never grow tired of that, actually. It's fantastic. Also, we've got two big cubbies here. Look, we've got one down there and another one there. You can have a laptop, little table that pops out. You can put things like your laptop on there, which is really nice indeed. The interior quality is really great as well. Lots of lovely soft touch plastics around. These leather seats feel really upmarket. And the other thing that I want to point out is these touch sensitive controls. They're hidden until you actually switch the ignition on. They look really smart, although you do have to sort of prod around when you are driving because they're not physical buttons, but they do vibrate to let you know when you've touched them. But apart from that slight little niggle, this is a really, really nice interior. Space in the back is pretty good, especially considering that sloping roofline. And the boot is alright too. Ariyas with smaller batteries have 466 litres of boot space, which is more than the Ford Mustang Mach-E. But four-wheel drive Ariyas have 408, which is less than most of its rivals. Talking about batteries, there are two of them, and they're both liquid cooled and warmed, something you can't say of the Leaf.
The entry-level Ariya 63 kilowatt-hour has, you guessed it, a 63 kilowatt-hour battery, 215 brake horsepower, front-wheel drive and 223 miles of pure electric range. Next up is the 87 kilowatt-hour with an 87 kilowatt-hour battery, 239 brake horsepower, front-wheel drive and a range claimed to be 310 miles. If you want four-wheel drive, you're in luck, as there are all-wheel drive versions and these models are called E-Force. The E-Force 63 gets 275 brake horsepower and a range of 211 miles. The 87 gets 301 brake horsepower and a range of 285 miles. At the very top of the range is the E-Force 87 kilowatt-hour Performance. The range is in the middle of all the models at 248 miles, but it does get 389 brake horsepower, which is good for a 0 to 62 mile an hour dash in 5 seconds.
Now, in a move that will surprise a lot of people, particularly Nissan Leaf owners, Nissan has decided to ditch the CHAdeMO charging port, something it pioneered 10 years ago with the Leaf, and instead it's gone for something way more conventional. It's a CCS port, and it means that you'll probably be more likely to find these out on the road when you need to have a quick top-up. Now, it's worth pointing out the Ariya 63 kilowatt-hour cars, they have a 7.4, well, they have AC charging capability up to 7.4 kilowatts. Now, the 87s, they can support three-phase 22 kilowatt charging. It means that if you're charging at home or from a fast charger at the side of the road, the 87s charge up an awful lot quicker. Now, no matter which Ariya you go for, they all support rapid charging up to 130 kilowatts. The CHAdeMOs only supported 50 kilowatts, so that is a big improvement.
Nissan hasn't confirmed prices just yet, but it hinted to me that they should kick off from around £38,000 and rise to around 50 grand, which would make it very competitive. That's not too bad for a car that I think is pretty good looking as big SUVs go. There's a typically Japanese look to it without it resorting to looking weird like the first Nissan Leaf, and there's no doubt that interior is very impressive indeed.
So there we are then, the Nissan Ariya. Well, let's face it, this car isn't as groundbreaking as the Leaf was 10 years ago, but it couldn't be, could it? The world is a very different place to how it was a decade ago. And there's no denying this car is going to have some tough competition with the likes of the Tesla Model Y and the Ford Mustang E. But that doesn't take away from the fact this is a very impressive SUV, both on paper and in the flesh. Now, hopefully I'm going to be driving this car at some point later this year, but in the meantime, let me know what you think to it. Thanks for watching.